Ow! Medic! Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm doing this by myself.
Bottom shelf, 23rd book from the left, page 157. The Greek Yogurt Kitchen by Toby Amidor. Quinoa burgers.
I totally forgot that we even had this book. Got it a number of years ago at a discount bookstore here in town, back at a time where we were making a lot more yogurt than we had been recently, with fresh milk from the farmer's market that I ran at the time. And quinoa burgers. I've never made a veggie burger like this before, like a bean kind of burger. It looks pretty simple. Chop up some veggies, saute them, cook some quinoa, and mix it all up and bake it. So let's give it a shot. There's not very much to prep for this recipe. It called for a medium onion. I had 2 small ones, so chop all of those up. It called for 2 cloves of garlic. I had about half a head of very small cloves, so I just grabbed like 9 or 10 that were in that head and smashed those up. And 3 ounces of mushrooms chopped, which is just under half a regular container of button mushrooms. So clean those up and chop them up. All of the chopping I did was rough. It didn't say anything about cutting things fine or anything like that. I tried to make them uniform, but I wasn't too particular about the knife work here. While I was moving things around on the cutting board in between chopping the onions and smashing the garlic, I bumped the knife with the back of my knuckle. Just while it was sitting there on the cutting board, wasn't even using the knife at the time. The last thing to prep is chopping up some fresh parsley, about a 1/4 cup, and so I rough chop that, and that's it. That's all the prep work. Everything else is over on the stove. I'll meet you over there. I just grabbed the prettiest quinoa I saw at the grocery store, this tricolor. There was a lot to choose from, way more varieties than the amaranth from the last recipe where I ended up having to go online. Had no trouble with the quinoa. So we just have 2 cups of chicken broth and 1 cup of the quinoa, and we mix it all together. It clumps a little bit here when I dump it in like that, so I'll just have to stir it up. And then we'll put it on high heat until it comes to a boil. And once it does that, slap a lid on it and turn the heat down to low and let it bubble away for about 15 minutes for all of the liquid to get absorbed. While the quinoa is coming up to a boil, which is almost there already, we can go ahead and start sauteing the vegetables. First, heat up some oil, and I'm going to add the onion. So I'm going to let the oil get nice and shimmery. I'm going to squeeze my garlic right into the onions. I smashed them on the cutting board to help me get the skins off, but then I'm just going to squeeze them through my press here and let them soften up just for a few seconds before we add the mushrooms. All right. There's about 3 ounces of chopped button mushrooms. And we'll let this cook down just for a few minutes. Let the mushrooms soften, release their water, and then we'll take everything off the heat and let it cool off. Okay, so the mushrooms have cooked down and everything looks nice and cooked through and soft, so we can take that off the heat and I'll put it into a bowl and just let it sit off to the side. We want it to cool down. In the meantime, I'll move this to the burner so you can see it a little better. And we're letting that simmer. It's still got about another 8 minutes maybe before all the broth is absorbed. So we'll watch that, and when it's done, we'll take it off the heat and let it cool as well. Okay, last thing to do is to mix it all up. Mushrooms and onion and garlic mixture that we did earlier. It's cooled off a bit. Got the parsley that I chopped earlier. Dump that right in there. And there's a big old stem I missed. Some panko breadcrumbs, a third of a cup. Salt and pepper. So I got my 2 eggs here. We'll just give them a little beat. In they go. And this recipe did come out of a Greek yogurt cookbook, and it has just the barest amount of Greek yogurt in it to, I guess, qualify for the book. We only just went 2 tablespoons of it. And the last thing is the quinoa. Let's stir that in. And I didn't let it cool down completely because I got a little impatient, so it's still warm, but that's fine. So what we'll do is we'll divide this up into 8 portions. It says it's about a half cup each, and make a little patty with our hands, put it onto a sheet pan that's been lightly oiled, and press each one so that they're kind of consistent in thickness and in size. We'll bake them. The oven is at 375, and we'll bake them for like 15 minutes. 20 minutes? What does it say? It says 25 to 30 minutes. So there we are. So I'm just going to scoop it out, form it into like a little ball, and it looks a little wet. We'll see how easy it is to make patties out of this. But wash my hands several times, and yeah, that's very, very wet. So I'm hopeful that they will set up in the oven. All right, let me get this big bowl out of the way and try to make these a little bit more consistent. Give them all a little bit of room. All right, well, there we go. And we put them in the oven and let them hopefully crisp up, firm up, and then we'll try it on a bun. But first, I'm going to wash my hands. Okay, so they have baked for about a half hour. They got a little lightly browned, and they've definitely firmed up quite a bit since I made the things. I'm going to try one just on its own and see how it is. I'm not a veggie burger connoisseur by any means, so I'll try one, and then I'm going to I got some burger toppings. I'll make an actual burger the way that I like. Since they're veggie burgers, I got some veggie bacon to go with them. Got some leaf lettuce, some salt and peppered sliced tomatoes, a smoked cheddar cheese, and Dukes. That's my fully dressed burger topping ensemble there. So here, let's try. And you can see I'm able to just cut right into it. I think it could stand a little bit more seasoning, a little bit more salt, and maybe a little something, some heat of some sort, maybe just a little layer there. If I had some green chili, that would be awesome. I mean, it's not bad. Let's try it as an actual burger, though. So I just put everything together in my preferred order, stack it all up, and I gotta admit, it makes a really pretty looking burger. All right. Looks pretty good. Let's give it a try. Yeah, that's a big old bite, but I wanted to be sure I got a taste of everything. It's softer than a meat patty, of course, so when I bite, some of it kind of wants to squish out the side of the bun. Having toppings definitely improve the overall experience, and I'm glad to have this in my repertoire for when I'm making burgers for vegetarian friends. So glad I learned how to make it. Thanks a lot, Siri. Appreciate it.